Hey everyone, CPO here, and I've been wearing these Apple Airpods Maxes for almost exactly 1 month. And I've done it not only sitting at my desk, but I've traveled the world in them. I've been to one, two, three, four, 5 countries. I have been on trains, planes, automobiles, buses, and boats. And I wanted to see if this is the right upgrade for me. I have a pair of Beats Fit Pros that are getting kind of long in the tooth. I was looking for my next pair of headphones. I thought I wanted to go with an over the ear style as opposed to an in-ear style, which I typically use. And I really like these AirPods Max. I have tried also during this period Sony XM5s, Sonos Ace, Focal Batis, Bowers and Wilkins PX8s, and I've tried a bunch of other in-ears from a variety of different brands. I can't even remember. Actually, I found a cool shop in Singapore, by the way, a coffee shop where you can sit down, have coffee, and try on a whole bunch of different in-ear and over-ear headphones. It's an audiophile coffee shop. Super cool. If you're ever in Singapore, I will try and remember to put a link to that place in the description of this video. Really neat, though. So I got to try a bunch of things. What I did find, though, is out of all of the over-the-ear headphones, the AirPods Max were my favorite for several reasons. First of all, being the integration with my Apple stuff. So I have a MacBook Pro, I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, I have an Apple TV. I am fully integrated in the Apple ecosystem, and Apple products work well with other Apple products. So I really like that. I tried to remove that from my opinion, especially when trying other brands that are not Apple, just standard Bluetooth headphones. But one thing I really noticed about these is they're very heavy. This is a known thing, right? I'm not sharing anything new. But for me, my ears didn't get nearly as hot in these as they did with a lot of the lighter weight headphones. So, for example, the Sonos Ace and the Sony XM5s, really lightweight, really comfortable initially, but my ears would get super hot really quickly. And for some reason, I don't have that problem with the AirPods Max. And then just Monday, they being Apple, announced the upgraded AirPods Max 2, which have absolutely zero changes that are impactful. It changes the Lightning port to a USB-C port, gives you some different colors. Weight is the same. Chipset and features is the same. And that honestly kind of bothered me. But I don't think these are the right headphones for me. After all the time I spent traveling, and I'll explain some of the things that I noted during these travels, I ended up settling not on these, but on these. Just the good old AirPods Pro version 2. This is the USB-C revision that just came out last year. And it turns out I like these way more than these. And the sound really isn't that different. But like I said, I'll explain why I ended up going back to trusted in-ear AirPods Pros, even though I really wanted to like these. And honestly, the comfort isn't that bad. The weight, you get used to it pretty quickly. But there are some things I didn't like. So let's talk about it. All right, I'm not going to make this a very long video. There have been tons of videos made about the AirPods Maxes, their pros and cons, their sound qualities from a variety of audiophiles, a bunch of videos about the bra case. I'm not going to go through all of that. What I am going to tell you is quickly the things that I noticed when I was traveling with these that made me deselect them from my list of accessories. Anyway, first of all, they're beautiful. They get lots of attention. You walk around, these around your neck, people notice you. You're cool. You're an Apple fanboy. Yeah, I don't know if it's really that way, but they were comfortable. When I wasn't wearing them, I would put them here, walking through the airport when I wasn't wearing them, or when I was talking to somebody, or someplace where I didn't want to have earpods in or headphones on. Why do I have these in? See, I forgot they were in there, to be honest with you. That's one of the positives about the AirPods is sometimes I forget I'm wearing them, and transparency mode is so good. Same with these. But this is lacking a bunch of features. Like, look, there are things like conversation awareness, spatial audio that this does not have, the adaptive noise control, which this does not have because it's got the older original chipset, whereas the AirPod 2s have the latest chipset. So yeah, so I'm not going to go into all that. What I am going to tell you is why I decided not to stay with these. Uh, First, the controls are amazing. I love the simple dial control for volume, push button. It's basically the digital crown that gives you access to play and pause, and that is one thing, by the way, that these could do that the other devices couldn't do, like the Sonys and the Sonoses and all those. Like I couldn't just mute a Zoom call with the press of a button. These can do it. These can do it. But surprisingly, a lot of the headphones I tried could not, I couldn't mute, like there was no mute unmute capability, which really surprised me. So I was really drawn to these because they did have that. The ability to change from, you know, noise canceling to transparency mode was here. It's amazing. But I would often accidentally adjust volume. Like I would just somehow, like when adjusting the headphones, I would like that volume control is so easy for me to hit. So I hit that a lot of times. The other thing is, I found that when I was wanting to rest and lean on something or lay down, or I just got off a 18-hour flight from Singapore to New York. It's actually one of the longest flights, if not the longest flight pass in the world. And yeah, like these are not super comfortable to wear and lay down in. And you can't just put one on, right? It's like I have to have all or nothing. Whereas these, you could just have one in and you can sleep, on the other side if you want. But actually found sleeping with both of them in isn't too bad either. So yeah, the fact that they're sort of big and bulky, which is the same for all the over the ears. Actually, most of the things that cause me to not want to keep these are applicable to all the over ear style. This is basically a discussion of why I decided to stick with in ears instead of over ears. The other thing is it messes up my hair, and I know that sounds crazy. I'll take off my hat. My hair's probably pretty messy right now anyway. But you end up with this dent across your hair. If you've got actually hair, and I've been wearing a hat all day, so when it's styled for like work, it leaves a dent, and it's kind of lame. Again, not a problem I have with these. The other thing is I had to figure out what to do with them. So I'm out running around the. Let me put my hat back on because I think we'll both feel better if I do that. When I'm running around traveling, if I'm not wearing these, I have to figure out what to do with them, which means I had to like basically bring a backpack with me so that I could put them into their smart case and then throw them into a backpack or leave them hanging around my neck. But yeah, it's like you certainly lose the ability to just toss them in your pocket or a fanny pack or whatever that you have with something like the AirPods Pro. So I noticed that was awkward and not as enjoyable to just have around, just to grab whenever I wanted them. So I don't know. I feel like I'm making this video just to say you've got to try and figure out what works for you. I thought for sure the AirPods Max were going to be my accessory, my audio accessory of choice. I spent a lot of time at my desk on Zoom calls, lots of time on Zoom calls. Pretty comfortable, worked out great, mute, unmute, like it was great. But outside of that, like when I leave the house, they're kind of annoying. And even at the house, I usually wake up pretty early. I might be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My wife is still asleep. Sometimes I'll put on headphones in the living room, and when I'm watching the morning news or catching up on something, YouTube channels, I'll wear headphones so that it's just me hearing it, and my wife doesn't have to hear the TV on in the house. But if I just want to lay down on the couch, like it's kind of awkward with headphones. Not nearly as awkward with in-ears. So yeah, that's why I've gone to the AirPods Pro 2, and they are offering a whole bunch of features that the AirPods Max do not have. So it's a win-win. That's it. Go figure out what you want. Try a bunch of stuff.